My name is Eric Donoho, and 3 years ago today, I sat at my kitchen table with my Glock in my hand and was ready to take my own life. Life leading up to that was a series of challenges that I hadn't really dealt with since coming home from war. I'm a retired sergeant from the United States Army. I was an airborne infantry scout sniper. From 2004 to 2009, I was medically retired for getting blown up too many times. You know, in crisis situations, I'm a rock, I'm good. That's what I was trained to do. It's in the quiet moments of life that I'm actually really horrible. I was tired. I was tired of fighting the wars. I had a recurring dream that wouldn't go away. People would come and snatch my wife and my kids, at which point I had to, in my dream, in my head, I'm thinking that I need to rescue my family. I started off and I would make my way in and I would fight my way all the way into the room where my wife was being held and where my kids were. And in that moment, I would end up fighting what I'm assuming is the devil, only to lose every single time. In January 20th, my best friend took his own life. I had spent Christmas with him, 3 weeks prior, and I was in a whole lot of pain. And I thought, if Brent can't make it, how am I going to? So I was out in the desert camping with other veterans, and on the last night of our trip, the same old dream came back. Except this time, instead of fighting, I threw my hands up in the air and said, God, I can't do this anymore. I need your help. I realized that maybe I was looking for solutions in the wrong area. It was at that point that I committed to continuing to try to develop my relationship with God and find a better way forward. I decided I needed a project to dig into so that I could take that pain and adversity that I was facing with the loss of my friend and do something good with it rather than just let it consume me. I continued over the next year to do some climbing with vets, and then I was asked if I would speak. One thing led to another, and I was asked to photograph an expedition in Nepal, in the Himalayas. And so knowing that we were spending 2 days at a disabled children's center in Nepal before we went into the Himalayas, I contacted the founder of that organization for 2 reasons. One, to figure out what we're allowed to photograph and video, and then also to ask, hey, what can I do to help? He said, what we really need are children's wheelchairs. The next thing I know, 10 days later, we raised $9,450, which was more than enough. Was able to get the wheelchairs. We were able to convince Etihad Airways to allow these oversized boxes on. It was the parents and the look of relief and true just gratitude for being able to put their kids in a wheelchair, something we take for granted here every day. Through all of this, through faith, that God was leading me in the right way, we were able to make this happen. In the month of December, over the course of years, have lost, a total of 5 friends. The most important thing that God has wanted me to know is that I'm loved, that your past doesn't define your future and the route that you move forward. This Christmas, instead of, alienating or exiling myself off from everybody else, I find myself coming back to St. Luke's. But the idea is, how do you recover from moral injury? You can sit on a couch or you can sit with your pastor and talk, but at some point you need to start doing good. When you start doing good in this world, you start feeling pride and joy and love. And when you look in yourself in the mirror, you don't see a guy you don't like. You see a guy who's purpose-driven and who's doing good things in this world, leaving a better mark than war.